Hello, Sarah here from smallbusinesssarah.com, and today I have a tutorial video on how to do your Amazon bookkeeping in QuickBooks Online. This is an updated video from my previous video that I published several years ago on how to do your Amazon bookkeeping in QuickBooks Online. Not much has changed. If you're following that old video, that's going to be perfectly fine. There's just some few minor things that have changed, and I just wanted to do an update so that all of those minor changes would be incorporated into a new video. So who is this video for? There are several stages that an Amazon seller goes through. So let me discuss those and which bookkeeping option is right for each stage. So at first, you might be just trying Amazon. You've heard that you can make money selling things on Amazon, and you want to give it a shot. At that stage, you might not have a separate business checking account, business credit card, and at that point, it doesn't make sense to use a high-powered program like QuickBooks Online. And for that seller, that newbie seller that's just getting started, I have a Amazon bookkeeping spreadsheet that you can use and will meet all of your needs for accurate, fast bookkeeping, but where you're not paying for a monthly subscription for a more complicated program like QuickBooks. So there's a card in the upper right-hand corner and a link in the description to find that spreadsheet if you are a newer Amazon seller and you're counting all of those pennies. The middle seller is someone who has kind of learned the tricks of Amazon. You're doing well, you're making sales, you're profitable. Maybe you have set up a separate business checking account, you have set up a separate business credit card. And for that seller, using QuickBooks Online, Simple Start, makes a lot of sense for your Amazon business. And I'll have a link to QuickBooks in the description as well. So that's what this video is going to cover. How do you do your Amazon bookkeeping in QuickBooks Online? And like I said, this is going to be fast, easy, accurate. We're going to use a monthly summary report to get all the crucial information from Amazon into QuickBooks, and you will be ready come tax time, and you'll be tying out to your 1099. And it's going to be great and a piece of cake. So that's who this video is for, that kind of middle seller who is profitable, ready for QuickBooks, ready to upgrade from a spreadsheet program. And I'll show you exactly how to do your Amazon bookkeeping in this video. The last type of seller is someone who is making a lot of money on Amazon, hundreds of thousands of dollars, so many sales. And you might need a more advanced system, something that's not a monthly summary of Amazon activity. Maybe you need to use an app or an integration to get information into QuickBooks on a daily basis. And since our method is focused on a monthly summary to make things fast and easy, then this video might not be for you. You might need to look into a higher level app or integration to help you with your Amazon bookkeeping. If you're not sure what bucket you fall in, feel free to leave a question or a comment below, and I will let you know based on my experience what might be best for you. But if you are ready to get started doing your Amazon bookkeeping in QuickBooks Online without paying for any extra app or integration, then let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you exactly what to do. So as an Amazon seller, you're obviously going to start to get deposits from Amazon from your sales. What most people want to do, so when their deposits, after you've linked your business checking account to QuickBooks and those deposits start to come in, most people want to just categorize these directly to Amazon sales. The problem with that is these figures are net, a bunch of fees, refunds, etc. And if we categorize these straight to Amazon sales, then we are not going to tie out to our 1099 at year end, and we want to do that because more than likely you're going to get a 1099 from Amazon at the end of this year, and we need to make sure our bookkeeping records agree with that. Just so you know, this video is going to explain basically how to handle your Amazon deposits, how to get those Amazon sales and fees into QuickBooks correctly. Take a look in the description for another video on how to handle all of the rest of your business expenses that you have that come through QuickBooks via your connected checking accounts or credit card accounts. And then also there is a separate video if you are getting Amazon Canada or Amazon Mexico sales as well. Before we get started, there are certain accounts that I have added to this particular QuickBooks file so that I have everything I need to do my Amazon bookkeeping. Take a look at the card and at the description for a separate video and a link where you can download the chart of accounts that you need to add into QuickBooks to be able to do this quickly and easily. So you might want to pause this, check that out. It's very short, just tells you how you can get all of the correct account names into QuickBooks so you can do your Amazon bookkeeping. So one of those names that we have added to QuickBooks is Amazon Holding. And this is the account that we're going to use to categorize all of our Amazon deposits to. So Amazon Holding, we're just going to hit add and add. Okay, now what we're going to do in order to capture our Amazon sales and fees is we are going to use a summary report that we get from Amazon. To get this report for our month of activity, we're working with August. We're going to go to Amazon. From here, you're going to go to Payments and then Report Repository. So this is in your Amazon Seller Central. Change this report type to Summary. Change this to Month. Select the month that you need. Hit Request Report, and it's going to show up down here. Just hit refresh, and then you can download the report. I already have the sample that we are going to be working with right here. So this report from Amazon breaks out your Amazon sales, your income, and then your expenses. Let's go over the chart of accounts items related to Amazon that we have included in the bookkeeping records. So in the chart of accounts, we have Amazon income. Below that, we have, this is all alphabetical, so that's why it kind of is in a goofy order. We've got our sales and our refunds. Those are going to be crucial. And then other items that we have are shipping credits, shipping credit refunds, gift wrap credits, and if we need them, gift wrap credit refunds would be a separate line. Promotional rebates and promotional rebate refunds, and then all other credits. So let me come back to here. So for example, for sales, we're going to combine this line and this line. So non-FBA and FBA are going to get combined, and those will make up our Amazon sales figures. Refunds, we've got this line and this line, the FBA refunds and the non-FBA refunds, and those will be combined together to form one line. Now we're going to skip down to shipping credits. Shipping credits is a line we will break out separately. Shipping credit refunds is a line we will break out separately. Gift wrap credits and gift wrap credit refunds. Promotional rebates and promotional rebate refunds. Everything else, like for example, inventory credit, liquidation, safety reimbursement, all of that's going to get combined together to form the other credits line. We're not going to break out each of those lines separately. So the reason why we are breaking out some lines and not others is because that is how the information is presented in the Amazon 1099 that you will get at year end. Take a look at page 2 of your 1099. I also have a video on how to tie out to your Amazon 1099 at year end with this method. And these are line items that Amazon is breaking out, and so they're line items that we need to break out as well. That is one minor difference between this and my previous video. In my previous video, I was combining shipping credits and their refunds, same with gift wrap and promotional rebates. But what I have since learned is because Amazon is not combining those on the 1099, that it's much easier not to combine them during the year. and separate them out. So we will be doing that. In regard to expenses, this is a personal preference, but I like to break out shipping. So shipping label purchases and refunds, I do combine those together. Advertising, so in this case, $301 in advertising. And then all the rest of the expenses, I combine together and just call that selling fees. Let me finish going through this page as well. Down here, you're not going to need to worry about sales tax. You can see that the difference between what Amazon collected and what they remitted, it comes to zero. Amazon is a marketplace, so they are collecting and remitting sales tax for every state that has a sales tax. So that makes your job a lot easier on the sales tax front. So we're not going to have to worry about this. Over here, this transfers to bank account. I'll highlight this a little later time in the video, but those two deposits that we just categorized to Amazon Holding, those actually total $3,800. So that is the amount that Amazon gave you during the month. Then the other line that we're going to care about is this charges to credit card and other debt recovery. So if your expenses exceed your income and Amazon needs to charge your credit card or your bank account to get you back up to zero, that's going to appear on this line here. The important thing to remember here is just like this amount needs to be categorized to Amazon Holding as well. Because let's say you went over your fees were more than your income by $50 and Amazon charged you $50. Well, we're capturing the income less the fees already through our journal entry that we're going to do. So if we categorize this to fees when they charged our credit card, we would be double counting things. So this line and this line, that's what we just did in the bank feed. This is what will appear in your bank feed, and this is what you will categorize to Amazon Holding, that one or that one. Okay, let's get started with the journal entry, and then I'll show you how this all works together. Right now, I'm sure it is hard to see how it all works together. So we're going to go to New Journal Entry. We are going to select the last day of the month as our date. We're working on August. And then you can change this to whatever journal entry number that you would like, or call it Amazon entry 8 or something like that. I'm going to go ahead and pause this video while I add all the account names here so that you don't have to watch me searching for all of these account names. Okay, so now that we have this all set up, let's go ahead and pull up our summary report. So as we go down the line, you'll notice in a journal entry, we have debits and credits. And this is very important. If you don't get your debits and credits right, it will not work. Luckily, the Amazon summary is set up with debits and credits as well. So that makes our lives a lot easier. So the first line, Amazon sales. As I said earlier, we would combine non-FBA with FBA if there were two values on each line. And since that is in the credit column, we will add that amount to the credit column. Next, we have refunds, and we would combine non-FBA with FBA if there were two. In this case, we don't have that. The next line that we have here is the Amazon shipping credits, and that is this line right here, shipping credits. It is in the credit column 106.24. We will also add that to the credit column. If we had shipping credit refunds, this line right here, we would add it, and that would be in the debit column. I have added that as a placeholder. I'll go ahead and put 0 here. Next, we have gift wrap credit and gift wrap credit refunds. These would also go on separate lines. This is our gift wrap credit line right here where we will put a 0. I didn't add a gift wrap credit refund because I knew we wouldn't need it. That would also be a 0 in this case, but it would be in the debit column. Moving along, we have promotional rebates and promotional rebate refunds. So promotional rebates is this line right here, and then the refunds is this line right here. Now, promotional rebates, you can see that this is the line we're working on, promotional rebates. it follows the opposite pattern of the other. So most often, the promotional rebates are going to be in the debit column, or always, and then any refunds would be in the credit column. But as you can see, that value is in the debit column there. So far, everything is looking debits, credits. It's lining up to what Amazon is showing here as well. And we can kind of check our work as we go along. Our debit column here equals the debit column here. Credit column equals the credit column. Before I move on to expenses, this is the Amazon other credits line. So anything that we haven't used so far, Amazon inventory credit, liquidation, adjustment, safety, chargebacks, anything that we haven't broken out already gets combined and put into this line. Now you do need to pay attention to whether it would fall on the debit or the credit line. So for example, if this was liquidation and this was chargebacks, we would do 106.24 minus 79.65, and we would put that positive value on the other credits line. So that's how that would work. You do need to do some math there to make sure that all works out. But in this case, we do not have any other credits. We can put that as a 0. And any of these zeros, as you're doing your journal entry, you do not have to include them. I'm just including them so that I can make sure I'm walking through with you every step of the process. Okay, so now we are going to come over to expenses. If you don't want to break out any expenses, you could just put this full amount as Amazon selling fees. That's perfectly fine. I tend to break out advertising, so that's 30109. Let's see, make sure I've got the right line. Amazon advertising, 30109. And that is in the debit column, of course. I also tend to break out shipping. So here's the shipping label purchase and shipping label refund. And I would net these. So usually it would be the shipping label debit would be greater than the credit. But I would do the math if I needed to get the right amount. And then I would put that in the presumably debit column if the debit column was greater than the credit column. And then the rest we just put to Amazon selling expenses, selling fees. So we're going to do a little math here. We've got a total expenses of $232.89, but we've already recorded $301.09 in advertising. So we are going to record a debit of $231.80. So when you're all said and done, the total of these three numbers should equal the total of this. So I'll double check my math again. 29318 plus 30109 equals the 232.89. So we're in good shape there. Now the balance is going to go to Amazon Holding. And yes, that is the same account we recorded the deposits to. I'm going to show you how this all works in just a minute. In accounting, your debits and your credits have to agree. If you don't load up your journal entry in advance, then all along the way, if you add one line and then the next, QuickBooks is going to try and fill in numbers for you as you go along. The reason why QuickBooks is doing that is because they're trying to be helpful and help you make sure your debits and credits agree. QuickBooks is not going to let you save your journal entry if your debits and credits do not agree. I already had it loaded up, so it wasn't filling in numbers for me. So now I need to do a little bit of math. I've got a credit of $9,026.95 in my credit column of my journal entry. I have I'm doing minus $3,721.87 in my debit column. The difference is $5,305.08. I need to put that on the debit side because the debit side is short. $5,305.08. And my debits and my credits equal, and I should be in good shape. So I'm going to hit save and close. Okay, now let's see how this all works together. We're going to go to banking. We're going to go to bank register, and we are going to choose Amazon Holding. I use the bank register feature all the time. It'll be your very best friend. So here's the journal entry we just did. You'll remember we did the debit to Amazon Holding for 530508. And if you will remember, these are the two deposits that came from checking. You can see from checking that we also recorded to Amazon Holding. So what is going on here? So Amazon Holding represents the amount of money available to be deposited. So Amazon, as you know, holds your money for a while. So for the month of August, $5,305 was available to be deposited or was earned. So this number is basically your income minus your expenses, the amount that you actually earned at the end of the day from Amazon. So that was available to be deposited from your earnings in August. But because there's a lag from other months, this is what actually was deposited. So at the beginning of the month, so this is left over from July. At the end of July, there was a beginning balance of $1,772. Throughout the month, we're making sales and fees. Throughout the month, we're having deposits put into our bank account. At the end of August, our balance, this is as of a specific date, as of 8/31, is this amount right here. So that's like the ending balance. So we go in this Amazon Holding, we start with the beginning balance. This is the amount that we have earned throughout the month. And then this is what actually Amazon deposited, and we get an ending balance. So you'll notice because we're only doing this journal entry once a month, it goes negative throughout the month, this balance, but that's fine. If it's negative, it just means we're just waiting for the end of the month to do the next journal entry. So, for example, at the end of August, it's a positive amount. And then we get a couple of deposits in September. It starts to go negative again, but that's exactly what I would expect. And then it goes back up to positive with our September journal entry. Usually by the second deposit, it's going back to a negative balance is what I tend to see. So if Amazon had a report that showed you what your balance was with them at any date and time, this would coordinate with your balance value as of 8/31. This would coordinate with your balance value as of 7/31. Unfortunately, Amazon doesn't have a report like that. But I have done this method with many clients, and rest assured, I've had clients who then close their Amazon accounts, and when this is all said and done, it comes to zero as it should. So I have a lot of experience with this, and it works out really well. Do I wish Amazon had a report where I could run it and say, hey, Amazon, how much of my money are you still holding as of July 31st? Yes, I do wish they would have that report, but they don't. So this is what we're left with. So that's kind of what's going on with Amazon Holding. Now let's take a look at how this looks in our financial statements. So we're going to go to Reports. Let's do a balance sheet first. I know that's the least exciting one, but a balance sheet is very important to bookkeeping. So I ran a balance sheet as of the end of August, which is the date of our Amazon entry that we did. And here you can see Amazon Holding, and that is the balance that we saw in the register. So that amount is an asset to us. Some people have asked me, is that like a receivable? Yes, it is a receivable. It's basically how much Amazon owes you. The reason why I set it up as a bank account and not as a receivable or another type of asset is because I just find within QuickBooks, the bank register where we were looking at Amazon Holding before is a lot easier to work with and see what's going on than the receivables register, and it's a bit more flexible. So that's why we call this Amazon Holding. We put it in with the bank accounts, and then we can see after we've done our journal entry at the end of the month, we know how much at that day Amazon is holding and will eventually deposit to us. So that's our balance sheet. Everything looks as it should. Let's go back to reports and let's do a profit and loss. So I ran a profit and loss report for the month of August. This is the report that's going to tell you if you're making money or not. So here are those values that we input into our journal entry. We have our Amazon sales. Here's that promotional rebate. Here's our shipping credits. Total Amazon income, $8,947.30. As I was looking at these numbers here, I realized I made a mistake because total Amazon income should agree to this figure right here. It does not. So I was looking into it and I stuck the refund on the wrong line. So this is good. It's a checks and balances. So I'm going to go ahead and open up our journal entry that we did. I don't want the Canadian refunds. I want our regular Amazon refunds. There we go. 8,537.97. 8,537.97. Good thing I checked my work. So Amazon income is looking good. Down here we have our Amazon selling expenses. We have our advertising. We have our other selling fees. 3,232.89. 3,232.89. So if we didn't have anything else in this profit and loss, we would just take our income figure up here, Amazon, less our selling fees, and that would be our net income line at the bottom. But of course, when you run a business, you have other expenses and fees as well. So that is what is captured in the other lines of this report. But for our purposes today, we're just going over how to handle those Amazon deposits. And that's all there is to it. So the steps are, we want to categorize those Amazon deposits to Amazon Holding. This is after you've watched the other video and uploaded your chart of accounts, your extra accounts that you need in your chart of accounts. Those deposits we put to Amazon Holding. Then we get our Amazon monthly summary report. Then we record a journal entry. And then now we are properly reflecting the gross Amazon sales in our bookkeeping, less the fees. If we had just recorded those deposits directly to Amazon sales, we would have just had $3,800 sitting up here in sales. We wouldn't have been reflecting the refunds or any of those fees. And it is very important to do that, A, so we can really get an idea of how our business is doing, and B, so that we can make sure we can tie out to Amazon 1099 at year end. So take a look at the other video for just other topics related to Amazon bookkeeping in QuickBooks, and then the video on how to handle Amazon Canada and Mexico. Thank you. If this video has been helpful to you at all, I would really appreciate your like, your subscribe, or your super thanks. Thanks so much.